How you doing, folks? Well, this is a nice little kitchen table job for when it's lashing rain out, and we're just sitting inside. This radio is a Bush BS40, and it was given to me by my auntie and godmother, who sadly passed away not that long ago, and she gave it to me soon before she died, and I always said I was going to do something with it. Now, what had actually happened when when I got it off her, it wasn't working anyway, and we knew that. It was buzzing loudly when we turned it on, and my understanding on that was that the main capacitor was faulty. And my uncle, who had also passed away a few years ago as well, had diagnosed that problem and taken the capacitor out. So that's where the capacitor would live. Fortunately enough, I found a capacitor that would have been in it. It's a dual 32 microfarad capacitor, type of dual capacitor that you would see in a valve amplifier or valve radio. They use them quite regularly. They use them for motors as well. You can hear the little man having a chat there in the background. But anyway, it's a dual 32 microfarad. So I picked up a new one, and it is. Oh, there we are. Don't worry, that was nothing expensive to drop. Here's the new one. So you have negative and two positives. So two different capacitors in the one case. Now, what we need to do is we need to get it into that enclosure there. You'll see I've taken the valves out already, simply because I wanted to clean them. And I kind of hoovered out all the residents, i.e. insects and the likes. So they've all been evicted. And the next thing we need to do is we need to take the holder for the capacitor out. And the reason being is because the screw is actually on the wrong side. So there's no way of loosening that in order to get it out. So we need to unscrew it from the chassis. So little stubby screwdriver here should do the trick. Thwarted again. The chassis has to come out in order to get the nuts off the bottom of this. So I'm going to just pull the chassis out. It was literally a case of undoing the three knobs on the front. The screws that were holding the chassis down are, well, God knows where they are. Anyway, we can find some new screws that will do the trick. So when the chassis is out, we may as well just give it a little bit more of a clean and see if we can spruce it up a little bit. So let's try and do that. Well, I'm just looking at the bottom of this here, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that capacitor there has had it. So I'm hoping I have something that I can use to replace it. That's going to be an electrolytic. So I would imagine the new one is going to be a lot smaller than that. But what we'll do is I'll go up and have a look and see if I have a cap that will fit. If I do, happy days, it'll be going in. But somehow I have my doubts. But we can always live in hope. I'm just waiting for my soldering iron to heat up anyway. So in the meantime, I'll take that out. But the capacitor is in. You'll see I had to run a new negative lead because the can used to be actually negative on the old one, and obviously this one is covered in plastic, so that doesn't make a very good conductor really. So yeah, we'll have to. We'll just solder that third tag on anyway, and at least that's the main power cap on, and then we can try and address this one. I mean, look at probably the other ones need to be replaced as well too. They're all electrolytic as well, but I don't have them. So, well, I'm not going to go down that route just yet. Let's just get that one fixed if I can, because that's not going to work anyway. We know that. Those ones might just have a little bit of life left in them. And we'll see how we get on. It's actually quite clean on the underside, which is nice though. 0.1 microfarads, 500 volts DC. I can tell you now, I am not going to have one of them. That's really annoying. So at that rate, we may as well just yeah, solder in the other one anyway. And not a huge amount we can do about that really, is there? We will, I think we're going to just order a couple of capacitors. Now, there's no point in me going and ordering just that one. I mean, I'll order that one, and that one, and those little lads as well too. So 500 volts, I mean, bloody hell, like, I mean, I know obviously inside in the valve radio you're dealing with a lot of mains power, so that's kind of where you're getting your high voltages from. So yeah, we'll get into replacing all the caps in this. They're all resistors and stuff as well. That's, yeah, so we'll leave the resistors alone. They don't tend to give problems. But yeah, those dried up electrolytic capacitors are no use to man nor beast. So yeah. Anyway, that's a bit of a shame. Stopped in our tracks. Okay, so the radio is now plugged in. I know that capacitor is not connected, but let's see what happens anyway. Oh, wow! The lights are actually working on it. That's extraordinary. Straight away, we're getting heat. If this thing works, I'll be very, very surprised. Oh, we're getting audio, folks. We are getting audio. An incredibly loud buzzing now, which is kind of what I would have expected. Okay, so... the dog doesn't seem to like it anyway. I can imagine all sorts of electro synth pop bands going mad for that sound. Very hard to turn the knob without the knob on it. So let me just put one on there just so I can make sure we're actually in long wave, because there's nothing on medium wave. Okay, so what have we got so far? We have a tremendous smell off it anyway. And we've got the faintest hint of audio come through there. Okay, so we're getting something. I'm actually sniffing at it, it's just burning off a bit of dust. So, obviously it needs a little bit of work still, but let's get the rest of those capacitors, the values of them, and we'll get them ordered up and get them changed. You're going to love this, folks. I turned off the fluorescent lights that are in the kitchen, and straight away...
Yeah, he has a wonderful voice. He's a lovely man as well. He really is such a gentleman.
So obviously it's just that filter cap is just because it's not there, it's not filtering out the noise off the transformers for the ballast for the fluorescent lights.
Coming up a little later on.
We want to turn off the lights to show you the valves all heated up.
That's we've been paired with Fundamental, and also we've got music from the Style Council and more. John, love the show. Wonderful mix of tunes, upbeat, given the day that's in it. All right, Eurythmics, I saved the world today.
Let's turn it around.
In Scaries. Thank you, Madeline, for the message, and we will actually get to that, Eurythmics. And also another one here says, my sister, Breda Kiernan, always listens to your show, as do I, so you might give us an old shout. I certainly will. No
RTE Radio 1, in case you're wondering.
That is the plan.
Well, there you go, it's playing a bit of music now. I know that means it's copyright infringement and all that, but who cares? What in the name of Jesus? Let them get the royalties, folks. They're welcome to them. Now, obviously, it needs a full clean-up. It needs those capacitors replaced, and it's going to be put back into service. I'm delighted with that. Really delighted. Bush Ireland Limited BS40. They used to have a factory out in Santry, close to where they used to make Talbot cars at one stage. Santry is out near Dublin Airport, for those who don't know, or for those who are not from Ireland. And we made a lot of radios there. Yeah, this is just one of them, and I also have another Bush Ireland radio as well too, which is also in working order. I'll freely admit I spent more time restoring the case of this than the actual radio inside. I haven't actually replaced any of the capacitors. That said, it actually does work. It lights up and everything, and what I did was I cleaned all the valve sockets and kind of gave it a good thorough cleaning inside, but I didn't get into the kind of the whole thing of replacing capacitors, which I will do. This one is another Bush Ireland radio, but what I want to do is I actually want to install a Bluetooth receiver module in it and wire it into the existing circuitry so that it makes it usable for day-to-day use. This one I won't be doing any such thing, simply because this actually has FM on it. It's a Marconi, it's unfortunately not working. The valves heat up, but that's where it stops. So I'm thinking I need to get a bit deeper into that. So yeah, three valve radios, and I also have a Felgate out in the shed, which is in dire need of some repair as well. The case is infested with woodworms, so it's not joining my collection just yet, but it will, and I will get it working. Again, the valves heat up, but no life out of it. You get a little crackle out of the speaker every so often, but it's not really enough to do anything with. I'm thinking capacitors have dried up or shorted to ground or something along those lines. But anyway, thanks for joining me, folks, and I'll see you in a future video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, there's the Felgate radio there. It's a cool little bookshelf radio with the speakers inside. I do actually have the piece of glass for the front of it as well. It's just inside, bubble wrapped up. And I've just made a start on kind of sanding back the case. It's going to look really cool when I'm finished with it.